probably need it. Turn on. Blue. Council, how are y'all tonight?
Great, how are you doing?
Doing well. I want to take an opportunity to come up and speak with y'all regarding the nutrition center that's currently being housed at CAC. I know it's been, we've been at CAC for about a year now. They are starting to want their space back. They've kind of redone that building. So I want to come up and kind of explain to you what our process has been and what we've done behind the scenes to try to find a new nutrition center. I want to present you guys with some options. None of the stuff is set in stone. Just want to get our minds thinking in the right direction is where we're going to head next, okay? So when we started talking about this, Amanda and I actually had a meeting with the East Alabama Regional Planning Commission because we looked at a property that is still currently for sale, so I won't go into more details because it's a privately owned property. But we spoke with them regarding where we could move to and what their support would be. So we initially entertained a USDA loan for this certain property that we were looking at. However, once we did a termite inspection on that property, we decided that the termite damage was a little bit too substantial for us to take that on as a city. And like I said, that property, that's all I will say about that is it was just not a good home for us. And we never would have gotten a loan with the inspection process for sure. So what we identified next is, this is Madison Street. You'll have to, I apologize for my terrible handwriting, but you can kind of see where Bud Porch Center is currently. The area that has the blue box around it is actually city-owned property. It's now currently being used as a parking lot. It's next to a law office. So what we did is Kirk Michaels and I actually got together and we reached out to Hearst Construction, which is a company based out of Anniston. They came down and we kind of explained what our expectations were and what we needed to get done. So once we identified this property, we had him out, and Piper, if you could go to that quote.
I don't have it, just have a picture.
Oh.
Yes, they have it quoted on
We
there.
Oh, you guys have it,
We
okay.
actually
I'm
have it.
sorry, okay. So what you're seeing in front of you is what the cost would be, kind of for us to do a slab structure, metal building, something that we can keep for a long, long time. I think the quote on there is $304,000 for that. And what we would do is if it's approved that we could get it all done, is we would put that on that property there on Madison Street. The good news about that is there's very little site work that needs to be done, and we can tie into our utilities there pretty easily. The second part of that quote that you'll see is we asked him to go ahead and tell us the quote what it would be to make it a storm safe shelter. And you'll see that added the additional $46,000. I believe it came out to $350,000, which I thought I was expecting another $150,000 on that. So $46,000, wow, that's pretty cool. So I did want to make sure that we included that in the quote because I know this would go up for RFP and go out for bid. But I think it would be, it's in our best interest now to start looking at these options because sooner or later CAC's gonna, not saying they're gonna kick us out, they've been very nice, but it's time for us to move on and find a more permanent place for us to be. We have looked at a couple rental properties. The mayor and I have looked at a couple rental properties. The problem I have with the rental properties, and of course, no dig towards CAC at all, but we continue to pour money to update someone else's infrastructure. And then when we leave, well, CAC, that's great that they have all their stuff, but we pay for all that for something that the city's not utilizing. So the problem with the rental properties we're seeing now is we probably have to get my crews in there to completely redo and we pour more money into it, and then in another year or so, we're moving on again. So that's why finding something more permanent has become kind of an urgency for us at this point. I also have a couple different options we've looked at. We've talked about doing something with modular structures. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They're pretty neat. They're kind of like the railway cars, but the thing we're most excited about is the quote we got from Hearst Construction, just because we kind of wanted to see what those figures would be. If we could make it a storm safe facility as well, double win for us, right? So, like I said, nothing has to be decided tonight. I just wanted you guys to start thinking that way. Where are we going to go next? Because we currently have 96 people. Is that right?
Yes, I'm 96.
Yeah, 96. We serve 96 meals a day out of our nutrition center. About 30 congregate and around 66 we deliver to. So we definitely don't want to just push this off the side when we start losing people, because this is a very vital program for the city. It's not a money-making program. It's not intended to be, but it does serve quite a few of our citizens for sure. So just want to give you that information. If you guys have more questions about it, you can ask them here. You can email me, either or.
Any questions at the moment?
Well, I like the location better, because that way it's, it'd be easy to build this building, but easy access for the people to get in and out, which I know CAC has kind of been little bit of an issue, so, yeah, this is better. I like this long-term strategy better.
For sure, yeah, and Amanda and I have, Amanda can speak more to it, I haven't been speaking with FEMA, but I know the conversation about a storm-safe shelter has come up. So if that's something, again, if we want to look at that further down the road, and the reason I say that is because if we do want to wait for FEMA money or however that works out, you know, we kind of need something now. I don't want to wait 2 years to build something and then we're still kind of struggling around and going from rental space to rental space. And we've noticed we've dropped quite a few people, not quite a few, but we've dropped some folks who either can't make that walk down cash, which is awful. We hate that. But we just want to find a nice central location that's for everybody.
Hey, so I have one question. Did, first get an estimated construction time?
They did not. I don't believe that. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm not sure. I don't believe so.
They don't say anything about it on here.
And to follow that, the last thing I'll say, and I'll move on because I know I talk a lot, but when Amanda and I did speak with East Alabama Regional Planning Commission regarding that USDA loan, we asked if that was just for an existing structure, if that could also be applied to a new building as well. And they said that could be applied to a new building. And it's a 30-year, 3%,
That's what I remember us talking, if we qualify and all
if we
that kind of
qualify,
stuff.
of course.
30-year at 3%.
But also too, they say grant and loan at the same time, so it was kind of, we gotta see what we can do, but 30 years, it was 3%.
Okay.
And I may have missed this since I was late. How big is this building? Because I'm saying here, what's that?
We kind of spec'd it out, and I can't remember the square footage. This is a 0.3 acre lot. And what it would do to take up the back end of that, but I cannot remember exactly how big it is. But when we spec'd it, we knew we had enough room for 2 offices, a storage facility, a service area, and enough seating and tables for our folks we serve. But I can get you specifics on that.
Just
I
curious,
can't remember off the top of my
I
head.
figure I might have missed this since I was late.
No problem. Any other questions for me, Council?
Thank you so
Awesome,
much.
thank you.
Appreciate it. At this time, we'll have Place Associates, a comprehensive plan overview.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
My name is Ben Weisman. I'm the owner of Place Associates, planning firm in Hoover, Alabama. Here tonight to talk about your next, going forward, the efforts of a comprehensive plan for the city of Alexandria. Now, start. Stop right there for a second. So before I get into that, I wanted to talk about really quickly what a comprehensive plan is. And just to kind of set that table for what we do and what the plan goals are. And that it is a broad, long-range document that expresses the values and aspirations of the community. It's a guide to policymaking at the broadest sense to help you make decisions about where and how development should occur in your system. And that's the purpose of the plan itself. Alexandria City currently has a comprehensive plan, and our goal is to build on that, to re-engage the citizens, re-engage your constituents, re-engage you as council members, and find out what your values and ideas for your city needs to go. Document that, and to provide a roadmap for those developments to occur. So that as development comes forward to you, it meets your needs and is addressing your values and wants. And that's the goal of the plan. Now, I can't do this all myself. Kind of give you a background on who I am. I've been here working in comprehensive planning, landscape architecture in the state for the last 20 plus years. I've done comprehensive plans, downtown plans, neighborhood plans across the state in just every community of about every size, from Mobile to Huntsville, from Columbus to Columbus. I've worked on every major college campus. I actually adjunct at the university right now. I teach both in the architecture program and I teach in the real estate development program. I have background in licensure in landscape architecture, city planning, and also real estate development. So I understand not only the design focus, but also that economic piece of what that development means and what they're trying to do when they come and step in front of you and say, here's what we'd like to bring to your city, and the kind of decision you face. Now, I can't do it all myself. I have a team that we've assembled of consultants that will provide that expertise as we go along. I've got 2 of those team members here tonight. I want to give them a moment just to kind of talk about their backgrounds and who they are, make an introduction, and then we can have kind of a discussion over any questions you may have about us and what the planning process may look like. Okay. First, Jim Byard, would you like to come introduce yourself?
Good evening or afternoon, council members. I'm a little, I'm having a deja vu moment because in a previous life, I served as mayor of the city of Prattville, and the lady sitting over here, that y'all's city clerk, was our deputy city clerk, and when our city clerk was out, she was sitting there scribing notes, and so my last name is Bayard, y'all's mayor's last name is Bayard, and Stephanie's your city clerk, so it's all the worlds are combining, so. I am a former mayor, former city council member, a former city council president. I have a very unique perspective because I have I have that elective experience, but I also have a statewide perspective as having been served in a governor's cabinet, serving as director of ADECA. So the value I add or bring to the team is I can discuss what Ben is telling you, and I can tell you what that means in the real world. I understand, what you're going through, the pressures that you as elected officials, but I also bring a statewide partnership opportunity perspective to the table. So I appreciate being asked to be a member of the team, and appreciate being in Elliott City. And I would have to say that, my mother grew up here in Elliott City and graduated from Benjamin Russell High School, and she's a Wildcat from a long, long time ago. Barbara Young taught her, I think. So it's just really fulfilling to be back in Elliott City, a place that I spend a lot of time in my younger days. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
And any questions? I'm sorry.
Nope. And then our next team member that's here tonight, Matt Level, Level Design Consulting.
Evening. Thanks for inviting us over here to talk to you guys and learn a little bit more about you and what we're trying to do. My name's Matt Level. I have my own little practice called Level Design Consulting, but I've been in economic development, architecture, and urban design for about 20 years. Prior to this, I was with the University of Alabama Center for Economic Development, working across the state on a variety of projects at the city level and at the regional level, and then also working with the state on the Gulf State Park redevelopment project, where I was the director of design planning for that. My background is really focused on project implementation and development. I think that's the fit for me on this team is how do you do a plan that is geared towards getting something done, seeing the result at the end of the day. Comp plans can take a wide variety of forms. Ben will talk a little bit more about that, but they're geared by what y'all want, and a lot of times they don't get to a place of doing something. That's what I'm interested in doing. That's what I've experienced has taught me, and that's what I'm hoping to contribute to the team. In addition, all three of us are involved with a lot of statewide design organizations that are focused on communities and gathering inputs and helping those communities sort of realize what they want to do. Specifically, all three of us are involved with Your Town, Alabama, which points directly at some of the things that you addressed in comp plan in terms of setting big ideas and goals that you're trying to accomplish, and then figuring out how to respect the community voice as you're working through that. So that at the end of the day, you have a sense of ownership over what happens at the end, and we're all stewards for the community and trying to do the best by them. So looking forward to your questions, and
Thank you so much.
So as you can hear, I want to make sure that we're building a planning team that's not here just to give you a theory or a document that's going to sit on a shelf, but something that we utilize and implement and becomes actionable in all levels. So really want to make sure we're engaging not only at the what you want, need, but what we can do, and then what we want to see done in the future. And we get all those big buckets of target for development as it occurs. Happy to take questions, all three of us, just kind of as we can answer. And if there are any questions around comprehensive planning, and as a consultant team, what we're here to provide.
Any questions?
How about community involvement?
Yes, so community involvement is at the core of a good comprehensive plan. We haven't decided what that involvement is yet. So I think as part of the engagement, the first things we'll be doing with a steering committee, setting that steering committee up. Steering committee will be composed of members of this body along with the staff and others. And that'll help direct us on the type and how many kind of community engagement pieces we need to have. Are those surveys? Are they in-person meetings? You know, what those involve and how they should be done to collect that information. But community engagement at the heart of the comprehensive planning process is to hear from people what they want to see, what they want to have done.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I guess we just look at the one that we've already have and just kind of look to see what we've accomplished based off the last one, recommend improvements and take it from, and I guess ideas from the general public and any elected officials kind of build upon to the next one as well.
Correct. This is not about throwing away or saying that wasn't appropriate at all. It was then, but what do we need now? And how can we adapt it to address needs today and going forward, what we all see and want?
I would just, first I want to commend Amanda and her team for foresight for this to even be an option. As you said, we do have one in place, but the level of development and progression we're seeing within the community doesn't necessarily match what that was and what we want to see for 2040, 2050. So I think that this is great from a timeline standpoint. Is there anything actionable that the council needs to do for this to get going, or we're rock and rolling now?
Tonight, there's a resolution on your agenda to vote on tonight that allows us to engage the mayor and staff and then start the process.
But,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But once that takes place, there's nothing else, so it's in your court at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the mayor and staff will come back and say, okay, here's how we're gonna start setting up the initial steering committees and how we're gonna get the organization going, and that will lead us into what that, as we just discussed, public engagement needs to be, and that allows us to, during that time, we gather data, information, building up a team, and all those kind of things. Back at house activities.
All right. Any other questions? Thank y'all so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate y'all.
appreciate it.
Number 3 will be listening to, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing, Alabama. There you go. I see you back there, man.
I spoke with Stephanie and requested an executive session for this topic. Wasn't sure how we need to proceed on that.
Y'all's call. Say yes to executive session.
Yes.
Um,
I think most we table this from executive session, or move to executive session for
Okay.
your topic.
Second, it's been moved and second. All in favor? Cool. We can take care of that. Amadeus, who's gonna speak on that?
I can speak on that. Right now, what this deals with is, number 9 and the warehouses, number 8 and number 9, the warehouse property. We're meeting with them tomorrow to find out if they're still interested or not, or and what time frame they're gonna be working in. We passed a resolution, y'all passed a resolution back a year and a half ago that basically put the property surplus, no longer used, we didn't need it anymore, put it on the market. And they expressed the interest, Armadale expressed the interest, but have not come forward. So we're meeting with them tomorrow, and then, if they don't continue to express interest, then we're planning on talking to Denise and putting it back in the inventory for the EDA.
Okay.
And we'll let y'all know where we're at, so in case you get some calls.
Any questions? Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor. Any other business to come before the council at this time? Hearing none, no well, I'll say we do our executive session now on, you wanna do it now or later? It's 4:50. How much time do you want?
10 minutes.
Okay, we will need to go into an executive session, that will last approximately 20 minutes. And we need a motion to go into an executive session.
Go into executive session.